20 years, I've harbored a secret. People talk about my sons and the evil things they did. Yet still I remain strangely mute. I do not discuss my own actions that day, or the rage I felt when I burned the 2 linking books that had snared them. Some people believe my sons died in those fires, but the truth is, they did not. You're the only one I can confide in, my friend. So I'm asking you to come to Tomahna. There are things I must tell you about my sons.
All right. Hello, everyone. Shell here, aka Keeper of Ages, and this is the start of my series of Myst IV Revelation. Probably, I'm tempted to say this might be my favorite game of the series. Definitely one of the top 3. Part of it can be attributed to the beautiful music that you're hearing in the background, all the orchestral and choral songs written by Jack Wall, who also wrote the music for Myst III Exile, and I think more recently some of the Mass Effect games. So yeah, he's behind that. Now what's interesting about this game is there's a lot of options, and so you can choose if you're a left-handed person or a right-handed person, specifically what skin color you have. You can choose to be red, blue, green, if you really want to. I'm making my cursor more transparent. I like to see more of the background. Cursor speed, I'm gonna keep it at the default just because some of the puzzles in this game actually require proper timing, and you have to manipulate levers and switches and stuff with your hand at the right moment. So camera speed, audio. You can actually disable music, disable sound effects and such, but I like sound effects for various cues. I don't know how you can play a Myst game without them. They introduced this. It was the zip mode, which allows you to speed ahead on a path if you don't want to do all the intermediary animations. There's subtitles, and they actually gave you a hint system, but I'm not going to be using the hint system. Graphics options I'm putting up to the highest resolution, which at the time was 1024 by 768, which is pretty good considering. Let's see, you have contrast, you have like brightness, effects like birds and such, water. Oh, water becomes beautiful in these games, and depth and such. So, gonna go back to the main menu, and I suppose let's get started. Atrus was just telling us that he had actually burned the 2 books, the 2 prison ages. Maybe not the ages themselves, but just those particular portals to them that housed Sirrus and Achenar, his 2 sons, who we met in the first game, imprisoned, and they were trying to coerce you to free them, but it turns out that they had actually done all these dastardly things. They took advantage of the peoples of the ages that their father had written, including in the last game we realized that Saavedra's home of Narayan had actually been influenced by Sirrus and Achenar, and he had been trapped on the training ages in Myst Exile, but we freed him. So now we're heading back to Tomahna to see Atrus and find out what happened to the brothers. Just gonna let the music go a little bit here. Love it. Okay, so let's start a new game.
This part's really cool if you're not afraid of tight spaces. Dad and me aren't, but sometimes Mom has to close her eyes when I'm driving. I think she's not home right now, because I never could have picked you up by myself if she were. Hey, is that a new image recorder you've got? How cool! And you know, I know the perfect spot to use it. Hang on. Isn't Tomahna pretty from here? I remember some of the other times you visited us. You've always liked stopping here. It's one of my favorite spots, too. Go ahead. Take a picture.
Yep. Ah, and you see we can actually take photographs in this, and it looks like we could...
Just make sure your thumb's not in the shot. Dad always ruins his images that way.
All right, so let's take a picture of their home in Tomahna.
Did you get it? I think you should keep it in your journal. That way you can take it out and look at it whenever you miss us. I'll tell Dad you're here. Come on.
All right, I can finally move. So once again, another tram ride. Yes, it wouldn't be a Myst game without a tram ride. And if you're wondering who that little girl is, if you recall in the last game, Atrus and Catherine had just had a baby girl, and her name was Yeesha. So that's her. She must be younger than a tween. Maybe she's about 10 years old or something. It's hard to tell when you're no longer a child yourself. So if you noticed here, there's a kind of symbol. I'm just gonna write it down. Maybe it'll be of some use later on. I think it looks like there's some kind of system for powering everything. And I suppose this is how you open the door. Oh, is that like a security camera or something? I don't know. And let's pull that down. Go through the aperture. So apparently we visit here often. Oh. More machinery. Ah. I don't want to go poking through his study without his permission, but everything's just so interesting around here. Oh wow, those animations were really nice. For all the moving parts. I suppose you click out of it. Ah, you right click to get out of a situation. Oh, can't seem to interact with any more of them. Some kind of solar system or mobile? Oh. Definitely not one I recognize. Doesn't look like I can go this way. Suppose I'll walk over here. Oh, another drawer? Ah, there you go. You have the open hand. and you can actually tap things and they make different noises, so tappy tap paper. I suppose I'll put that back where it should go. More books, more drawers. What? I can actually open these guys up. Oh. These must be the special inks. The ones that you use for the art of writing. Alright, put that back down there. Just so many books. I wouldn't be surprised if he's drafting all new ages. Oh?
Hello, my friend. So you made it in one piece, so Yeesha's driving wasn't too erratic, I hope. Well, you're probably wondering why I asked you, and the truth is, I need your help. As you know, my sons, Sirrus and Achenar, were trapped 20 years ago after they destroyed many of the ages I'd written. At the time, Catherine and I decided to leave them imprisoned because we'd hoped it might reform them. And now Catherine believes our sons should be released. But I need an objective opinion. I must find out if either Sirrus or Achenar deserve to be freed, and you're the only one we can trust. Remember my old crystal viewer? I've made some changes to it, and I haven't yet calibrated its sound component. It'll actually be quicker if we do this together, and I can show you the two prison ages before we link to them. So if you step to the panel behind you, we can begin.
Oh. And he wants an objective eye.
Okay, I'm going to transmit a waveform that's being generated by the first prison age. It will appear as a yellow line in your right-hand monitor. Here it comes. In order to hear Haven, we must manipulate the blue line until it exactly matches that waveform. The blue line is the result of two combined signals, which we'll manipulate separately using the 3 dials, amplitude, frequency, and phase. But first, we have to select a signal to manipulate, so move the slider left or right.
All right. This slider?
Try moving the slider.
Oh, this slider.
Now turn the leftmost dial to adjust the signal's amplitude, or volume. The amplitude's pretty close now. Now turn the dial on the far right to adjust the signal's phase. Try selecting a different signal. Try moving the slider. Slower. Slow it down. Slower. Less frequency. Stop! The amplitude was fine.
Oops.
The volume sounds pretty good. Try turning the center dial to adjust the signal's frequency. Slow it down. Decrease the frequency. No, not the phase. No. The phase was set correctly.
Oh.
Farther to the right.
I'm sorry, Atrus. I need to remember which one's phase, which one's frequency.
The right dial is well adjusted.
Okay, good.
Try the center dial.
All right. Is this good?
Try slowing down the frequency. Slower. Try slowing down the frequency. Try selecting a different signal.
Oh, a different signal. Is this?
Try the leftmost dial.
Oh.
Turn up the volume. The volume sounds okay.
All right.
Now adjust the center dial. Speed it up. Increase the frequency.
Is this frequency?
No, that's the phase dial.
Ah! Okay. I'm gonna write this
The
down.
frequency needs to be faster.
Right equals phase. Middle. Okay. Maybe left is
Speed it up.
Maybe left is the frequency.
No, that's the amplitude dial.
Okay.
Increase the frequency.
Left is amp. Mid is frequency. Okay. This episode, Michelle tries
The frequency needs to be faster.
to
Try
get...
moving the slider to select a different signal.
Okay.
Try adjusting the frequency.
Frequency's the center. Okay, I got this now. That's good.
Slow it down.
That looks nice.
Try moving the slider. Adjust the leftmost dial. Got it.
Good.
Hang on a second. I'll lock in the adjustments and send you the waveform for Spire, the second prison age. Here it comes.
Okay, so we have Haven and Spire.
Try selecting a different signal.
Okay.
Try adjusting the amplitude.
Amp is the far left. That good?
The amplitude's pretty close now.
Okay.
Try the dial on the right. Try moving the slider to select a different signal. Try the leftmost dial. The volume sounds pretty good. Try the frequency. That's the center dial.
Yep. Ooh, it's getting close.
The frequency seems fine. Adjust the phase dial.
Phase is on the right.
Farther to the right.
It's getting close, but not
More
quite.
to the right. Try moving the slider. Try the dial on the right.
I mean, that looks nice.
The phase seems okay. Try adjusting the amplitude.
Amplitude's volume.
Less volume. Try selecting a different signal.
All right, let's go back.
Try the phase dial. It's the one on the right.
Yep.
Keep moving it to the right. It's not at the right position.
I can see that. Let's see.
A little more right.
A little bit more to the right, really?
It's not at the right position. Try moving the slider to select a different signal. Try adjusting the frequency.
The frequency is the center, I believe.
Faster.
Faster?
Oh, no, too much.
Ooh.
Try moving the slider. Try moving the slider to select a different signal.
It seems to be going more out of whack.
Adjust the center dial. The speed's about right. Try the dial on the right. Try moving it right. No, you've gone too far.
Okay. This
A
is
little
the
more right.
weirdest. I don't remember
Try moving the slider.
having to do all of this and having him bark directions at
Try
you.
adjusting the phase.
Okay, the phase is on the right again.
Farther to the right. Try selecting a different signal.
Okay.
Adjust the phase dial. That's too much, my friend.
This is getting close.
Try moving the slider to select a different signal. Try selecting a different signal. Try the leftmost dial. You've got it. Don't
There
change a
we go.
thing. I'll just lock it in here.
Whew. Finally.
Ah, got it. Well done, my friend. You should be able to hear both prison ages now. So let's begin, shall we? What in the name?
Oh no.
What a mess.
Fickle machinery, huh?
The image modulator short-circuited wires are completely fused. Well, the viewer itself seems okay. So maybe if I link to rhyme. All right. Slight change in plans, my friend. explosion must have shut down the main power supply and damaged the viewer's external image modulator. There's another one on Rhyme, so I'm gonna link there and retrieve it. Oh, I'll have to stop at the cleft for some tools first. Why don't you get full power restored while I'm gone? Go to the water wheel control room. Close both emergency release gates, then come back here and use the crystal viewer to contact me. The crystal combination to see Rhyme is in my journal. Oh, you'll have to turn on the roof antenna before the viewer will work. Keep an eye on Yeesha, will you? I'll be back.
Yes, sir. Okay, so we have roof antenna, taking care of Yeesha, viewer, Rhyme combo, water wheel. And if you recall, Rhyme was the last age that they had actually added to the original Myst game. It had the original crystal viewer that Atrus had created to see into Riven. Is this the journal that he was referring to? And I actually have to pull the book pages over. Nice. All right. I suppose it's time for another reading episode. I'm always surprised by how good it feels to return home after one of my journeys. In the day, heat shimmers off of the cliffs, bathing me in unexpected warmth. At night, gentle breezes stir the lake, and I often hear Catherine singing to Yeesha. The sound of their voices fills me with such joy. I find myself wondering why I ever left. Perhaps I am more aware of this tonight, having spent much of my time alone in Rhyme. The trip was unavoidable. It has been weeks since I viewed Sirrus and Achenar's prison ages, and I need to be assured of their safety. The crystal viewer did not show much, so I began considering how I might improve it. I am now fairly certain I can achieve a tighter image if I redesign the mechanism itself. I have got to tell Catherine of these plans. I do not wish to raise her hopes prematurely. After far too brief a visit with my family, I have returned to Rhyme to conduct preliminary tests. The frigid temperatures in this age are vital for the crystals to function, yet I find it increasingly difficult to work in the cold. Perhaps I can find a way to simulate extreme temperatures inside the viewer itself, so that I can install it in Tomahna when ready. So he has a cooling unit to keep the crystals cool. The blank linking book. Crystal selector. So is this a way for him to actually create links to other ages? One book fits all so long as you have the right frequency? That's interesting. Tonight, I set aside experimentation for a few hours to watch the lights illuminate Rhyme's sky. Their beauty has not dimmed since first I saw them. I could not fully enjoy the show, however, for it put me in mind of Sirrus and Achenar and the months we spent here constructing the towers. Soon, what had been a happy memory for me was mired in regrets. I doubt I will ever know what caused my sons to become so greedy. I only know that when they looked at the ages described in my library, fantastic worlds one could travel to easily simply by touching a book's linking panel, they saw only dreams of wealth and power. They devised a plan, an evil plan. When my back was turned, they linked to my ages, plundered, and destroyed them. I know Sirrus and Achenar must pay a price for these crimes, yet it brings me no joy to picture them stranded on 2 uninhabited ages I wrote to protect my library from thieves. I only hope that my sons will someday reject their wicked yearnings and find it in their hearts to reform. After experimenting with several liquid gases, I have found a pressure variable that should allow the crystal viewer to function in Tomahna. Tomorrow, I link to Revelation to enlist help from the Guild of Machinists. Catherine was unusually subdued when I showed her the new blueprints. She trusts that the viewer will work, but wishes we could visit our sons in person. I would like that as well, but until I am convinced of remorse, I cannot risk their escaping. I was fairly certain the evaporator coils would work. And indeed, I was able to achieve a blurry image of Spire. within the new viewer's blank book. Unfortunately, a more powerful suppressor is needed to stabilize the image. Guildmaster Andreas suggested that I install several geodes inside the roof of the observatory, then use an antenna to focus them. This should amplify the clean frequency enough so that the crystal viewer can work. By the way, when he's talking about guilds, much of the professions in the original Denis, of the Denis people, actually involved guilds. They had the Guild of Writers, the Guild of Maintainers, the Guild of the Machinists, a lot of different guilds. Oh. Okay, so I'm gonna write this down. Maybe this is the rhyme combo. So we have a little red one with 4 spikes on top. Red. Okay, and we have a medium-sized blue one, but it's in cyan blue with 2 spikes. Now they're 2 single-spiked ones. I wonder if they're the same crystal or slightly different. I'll just draw them with different facets at the top. A slightly wider yellow one and a slightly thinner green one, and then an indigo one. Success! Not only was I able to view both Spire and Haven, but I also saw my laboratory on Rhyme quite clearly. The crystal code for Rhyme was difficult to remember, having not had much reason to use it previously. I must make full lists of codes soon, but for now, I'll keep Rhymes close at hand. I always knew my sons had great potential, but today, I saw something that truly amazed me. Sirrus is harnessing electricity. At least, that is what I assume, for the viewer caught a brief glimpse of something I've never before seen in this age. It had to be a man-made construction. Oh, so the brothers in their years of exile have probably been changing the ages. A burst of interference destabilized the image before I could study the device properly, but its existence offers proof that at least one of my sons is making the most of his confinement, rather than wallowing in despair. The interference effect is curious. It has disrupted my viewing of ages on more than one occasion. Although I first assumed it to be a problem with the geodes, now I believe it to be subsonic in origin. I think the roof antenna is picking up wave fluctuations emitted by one or more ages. If this is true, I might be able to use the fluctuations to hear what is occurring in the ages. I shall have to think on this carefully. It has been an exciting 2 weeks. Catherine, Yeesha, and I have just returned from Revelation, where I spent most of my time in conversations with various guildmasters. I am now convinced that the shape and color of the crystals gives them individual resonance signatures. By combining the resonances of 5 crystals together, I can discover a global pattern of emissions, a sound signature, as it were, that is unique to the age being viewed. Guildmaster Andreas assisted me in drawing up plans for a filtration panel that will enable the antenna to hone in on whatever wave fluctuations I want. I truly will be able to listen in on an age. Tomorrow, I began building the panel. I've decided to use Rhyme in its present configuration, since it is the age which first enabled me to construct a crystal viewer. The panel is finished. I'm too tired to test it tonight. Catherine tried to hide it, but the sounds we heard coming from Achenar's prison age nearly brought her to tears. Once again, I had to reassure her of his safety. Oh, was Achenar crying, or was something horrible going on there? My words eventually convinced her, but I know she longs for more substantive proof. I fear she may take matters into her own hands soon. I must confess. I too long for more information than the viewer is currently providing. Tomorrow, I shall link to Rhyme. I have an idea for an attachment, something akin to a moving eye that will allow me to change points of view while using the crystal viewer. If it works, I might finally be able to see if my sons have reformed.